Yes, you can march and protest with passion. You can demand the protection of civilian life. But no, you cannot call for violent jihad.
As a Holocaust survivor, I'm protesting against the misuse and weaponizing of the memory of the Holocaust. The misuse as a cover for the current genocide by the Israeli government. And I am here partly to demonstrate that not all Jews, in fact, probably the majority of Jews, do not support that.
No, you cannot call for violent jihad.
I am here as the son of a Holocaust survivor to make it clear to the British government and to others in power that those of us who are descended from Holocaust survivors, or certainly some of us, are very much against the genocide that they are committing in Gaza as we speak.
No, you cannot call for violent jihad.
Stop arming Israel! Stop arming Israel! Stop arming Israel! We want sanctions! Free! Free! Palestine! Free! Free! Palestine! Palestine will live forever! In our thousands, in our millions! We are all Palestinians!
I think it's really important that we show solidarity with Gazans and the Palestinian people. What's happening right now is genocide, and the UN are kind of saying there's a distinct plausibility that that's the case. It's just outrageous that we're still, the UK and the US is still arming Israel.
You can freely criticize the actions of this government, or indeed any government. That is a fundamental democratic right. But no, you cannot use that as an excuse to call for the eradication of a state or any kind of hatred or anti-Semitism.
I'm here is because I want to show other Jews in London and everywhere that this isn't against us. These marches aren't fueled by anti-Semitism. These marches aren't fueled as a hatred against Jews.
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks for having me, James. I'm a few minutes away. Sorry, Peter. I'm a few minutes away from the march.
So you are Jewish. You are editor of a Jewish publication, but you're joining the pro-Palestinian march. Can you just give me your perspective on that? Some people will say, actually, this march has been very anti-Semitic in many respects. There are people on it who are holding things like swastikas in Stars of David and so on, and many Jewish people feel very, very uncomfortable. But you've actually joined it. So just give me your perspective.
Yeah, I've been marching alongside a very large and vibrant Jewish bloc for the past 6 months, really. We've been marching to demand an immediate ceasefire. The suffering and the death and the devastation we've seen in Gaza is simply unimaginable. On my way here, I read about a young girl, a child, who had died from heat exhaustion because of lack of access to proper sanitation. And so we're here to reaffirm the importance of an immediate ceasefire. As I said, I've been part of a very large and vibrant Jewish bloc, and we've been received very warmly.
Factual, there are people on the march who don't like Jewish people, but you're happy to march with them. I'm surprised by that, Aaron.
Well, I would seriously dispute your characterization of the marches. My experience has been that the overwhelming majority of the people on this marches are decent people who are appalled by the suffering and devastation.
I'm sure there are many, many decent people on that march, Aaron. I'm not saying for a second that all of them are anti-Semitic, but there are people on that march who are pro-Hamas, terrorist organisation, who are saying that, you know, Israel is a terrorist state, for example, which I disagree with. You may disagree with me, and that's fine. Who are saying that they don't like Jewish people. I mean, yet you're joining that march. I just find that a strange thing for a Jewish person to do.
Well, Peter, I'd urge you to come and see these marches for yourself. I've been on these marches for 6 months. I have to say, personally, I've not encountered any anti-Semitism.
You cannot use that as an excuse to call for the eradication of a state or any kind of hatred or anti-Semitism.
The vast majority of the people here are here for good reasons. And I would urge you, and as well, just as I'd urge plenty of my Jewish friends and family to come along, because I think it's really illuminating. Because I think some of the ways that parts of the media and some politicians have characterized these marches are not only deeply inaccurate, but I think they're really...
But it's not inaccurate to say that there are people who support Hamas on those marches. Hamas is a terrorist organization.
It may not be inaccurate to say that there are a handful of people, but it's inaccurate to characterize the marches as a whole, as some politicians have attempted to do, as hate marches. I find that deeply inaccurate. And not only do I find it inaccurate, I find it offensive and unhelpful, because what it does is it pits very real fears for Jewish safety. We've seen a sharp rise in anti-Semitism and a sharp rise in Islamophobia, and it takes those fears and it pits Jewish safety against freedom for Palestinians. What I've seen on these marches has been an extremely moving show of solidarity between different marginalized communities. I've joined with Muslims, with people from all walks of life, and I think they really represent the best of...
We're just slightly struggling to hear you, Aaron. I do want to give you your say.
Last time I was here, a couple of weeks ago, a group of Palestinians came up to us, wearing kippahs and visibly Jewish. They came up to us and they told me, hey, when Palestine is free, you're invited to our house. And they told me that Jews and Muslims are brothers. And if any Jew in London is feeling uneasy and unsafe about the situation, I encourage them to come out here. You can come with your kippahs and you'll face nothing but love from the people here.